Here we are, skin, flesh, bones, and dreadlocks. Mash it, Grizzly! Stepping up, stepping up, stepping up.
Today we travel all the way into England and we find one of the most famous reggae group ever to come out of England. We're talking about Steel Pulse. Steel Pulse are a roots reggae band from the Handsworth area of Birmingham, England. They originally formed at Handsworth Wood Boys School and were composed of David Hines, lead vocals guitar, Basil Gabidon, lead guitar vocals, and Ronald McQueen, bass, along with Basil's brother, Colin, briefly on drums, and Michael Riley, vocals, percussion. Steel Pulse were the first non-Jamaican act to win the Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album. Basil Gabidon and David Hines became inspired to form Steel Pulse after listening to Bob Marley and the Wailers' Catch a Fire. The band formed in 1975. Their debut single release, Kibudu, Mansetta, and Abuku, arrived on the small independent label Dip and linked the plight of urban black youth with the image of a greater African homeland. They followed it with Naya Love for Anchor. They were initially refused live dates in Caribbean venues in Birmingham due to their Rastafarian beliefs. During the popularization of punk rock in the mid-1970s, Steel Pulse began to play punk venues such as the Hope and Anchor in London and the Electric Circus in Manchester in 1976. Aligning themselves closely with the Rock Against Racism organization and featuring in its first musical festival in early 1978, they chose to tour with sympathetic elements of the punk movement, including the Stranglers, XTC, etc. Eventually, they found a more natural home in support slots for Burning Spear, which brought them to the attention of Islands Records. The first release for Islands was the Ku Klux Klan single, a tilt at the evils of racism, and one often accompanied by a visual parody of the sect on stage. By this time, their ranks had swelled to include Selwyn Brown keyboards, Steve Grizzly Nisbet drums, and Fanso Martin vocals, percussion, and Michael Riley vocals. Their debut album, Handsworth Revolution, recorded in 1977 and released in early 1978, was part of the revolution of roots reggae outside Jamaica. However, despite critical and moderate commercial success over 3 albums, the relationship with Island Records had soured by the advent of their 3rd album, Caught You, released in the US as Reggae Fever. The band made their US concert debut at the Mud Club in New York in 1980. Tom Terrell, who would later serve as their manager, was instrumental in masterminding a Steel Pulse concert on the night of Bob Marley's funeral, which was broadcast live around the world from the 930 Club, 930 F Street, NW, Washington, D.C., on the 21st of May 1981. In 1982, Steel Pulse switched to Elektra Records and unveiled the most consistent collection of songs since Handsworth Revolution with True Democracy, distinguished by the Garvey eulogizing Rally Round cut. A further definitive set arrived in Earth Crisis in 1984. However, Elektra chose to take a leaf out of Island's book in trying to coerce Steel Pulse into a more mainstream vein, asking them to emulate the pop reggae stance of Eddie Grant. Babylon the Bandit was consequently weakened but did contain not King James Version. Steel Pulse released Babylon the Bandit in 1985, for which the band won a Grammy Award. Their next move was to MCA for State of Emergency in 1988, which retained some of the synthesized dance elements of its predecessor. Rastafari Centennial, Steel Pulse's first live record, was recorded live at the LSE Montmartre in Paris over 3 nights in January 1992 and dedicated to the 100-year anniversary of the birth of Haile Selassie. It was the first recording since the defection of Alfonso Martin, leaving the trio of Hines, Nisbet and Selwyn. While they still faced criticism at the bands of British reggae fans, in the United States their reputation was growing, becoming the first ever reggae band to appear on the Tonight television show. Their profile was raised further when in 1992 Hines challenged the New York City Taxi and Limousine Commission in the Supreme Court, asserting that their cab drivers discriminated against black people in general and Rastafarians in particular. The lawsuit was later dropped by Steel Pulse. In 1989, the group contributed I Can't Stand It to the soundtrack of Spike Lee's film Do the Right Thing. In 1994, the group headlined some of the world's biggest reggae festivals, including Reggae Sunsplash USA, Jamaican Sunsplash, Japan Sunsplash, and Northern California annual Reggae on the River Festival. In 1986, Steel Pulse contributed a version of Franklin's Tower and Powwow's record, Fire on the Mountain. Reggae celebrates the Grateful Dead compilation. They recorded The Police, Can't Stand Losing You, for a reggae compilation of police tunes that appear on the Arc 21 label Rasta Anthology, a 17-song collection of Steel Pulse classic. In the 1996 compilation was released on the band's own Wiseman Doctrine label. In 1997, the band released Rage and Fury. Until February 2001, it had been many years since Pulse had performed in their hometown of Birmingham. They decided to perform at the Ray Watts Memorial Concert, which was held at the Harris Center. Pulse shared the stage with Watts' band, Beshara, along with other artists from Birmingham. In 2004, Steel Pulse returned to their militant roots with African Holocaust, their 11th studio album, with guest appearance by Damian Marley, Capleton, and Tiken Jafakali on the track African Holocaust. The album is a collection of protest and spiritual songs, including Global Warning, a dire warning about climate change, Tyrant, a protest song against political corruption, and No More Weapons, an anti-war song. Also featured on the album is the Bob Dylan song George Jackson. In 2007, the band released a music video for the track Door of No Return. The video was produced by Driftwood Pictures Limited and was shot on location in Senegal and in New York City. The video was directed by Trishul Tisazi and produced by Yoni Gal. The video had its world premiere at the Times 51st BF1 London Film Festival in October 2007. In a 2013 interview with Midnight Raver, David Hines indicated that a new studio album and documentary tentatively titled Steel Pulse: The Definitive Years would be released in 2014. However, on the 10th of July 2014, Midnight Ravers reported that, according to Hines, both the studio album and documentary will be delayed until at least 2015. In anticipation to a new Steel Pulse album, the Roots Reggae Library as Index 2 compilation album of the latest Steel Pulse single. The albums are called Positivity and Yahweh, both named after tracks on the albums. In October 2018, Steel Pulse announced their new album, the first in 14 years. Mass Manipulation was released on Rootfire Cooperative, a non-traditional label which provides interest-free loans and label service to independent musicians. The single, Stop You Coming and Come, was released on the 7th of December. The album was nominated for the 2020 Grammy Awards. A Grammy Award was awarded for the 1986 album, Babylon the Bandit. Steel Pulse has received nomination for Victims 1991, Rastafari Centennial 1992, Rage and Fury 1998, Living Legacy 2000, and Mass Manipulation 2019. The current band, as it stands: David Hines, lead vocals; Selwyn Brown, keyboards; Sidney Mills, keyboards; Wayne Clark, drums; Al McTamari, bass; David Alexisi, lead guitar; Stephen Bradley, trumpet; Zem Yudu, saxophone; and Baruch Hines, rap and backing vocals. Ladies and gentlemen, Steel Pulse, a powerful band. I've always admired the reflexes of David Hines, the lead singer, with his natty dread pile up and pile up and pile up. And David Hines was singly my favorite musician from the band Steel Pulse. But guess what? We have to applaud and laud all of the musicians from the beginning to where they are today for the tremendous work that they have done to reggae music. And being a band not from Jamaica, but with Jamaican roots, they came, they saw, and they definitely conquered. What a band, what a set of great musicians. I'm so happy to be able to do this tribute to the iconic, the legendary Steel Pulse. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Please like and share this video. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, now is the time to do so. Thank you so much for watching.